Friends, welcome back to our channel and welcome to the part 2 of a short monsoon diary by Ruskin Bond. If you haven't seen the part 1, go and see that because you'll completely not understand anything if you're directly coming to the part 2. So now let's get started, okay? August 2nd, all night rain has been drumming, which is like it's like falling very like loud, and as seen here it's a very like falling very noisily, and corrugated tin roof, and on the tin roof he Ruskin Bond had a tin roof, and it was like tup, 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 tup. You can like feel it, right? When you have a coke tin and then you like you bang it, you just feel like I don't know. You just have to imagine it. And then there has been no storm or no thunder accompanying it. There was like no storm or thunder being with that rain. It was very loud, but there was no storm or thunder, just the steady wish for a tropical downpour. It helped me to lie awake at the same time. It doesn't keep me from sleeping. He's saying in a way that whatever you imagine, if you want to sleep, it makes you sleep. If you want to, be awake, you can be awake. It's just it's just your choice, and it's a good sound to be read by the rain outside, the quiet within. And although tin roofs are given to springing uncountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet be touched with the rain. He's saying that it's very the sound of the rain was really nice to read by, and it's a very good sound to read by, which is like reading books. And then the rain outside, which is like very, it's like very outside, and inside it's like like that. So he was saying that it was, although the tin roofs there are like uncountable like leaks because there is like a lot of rain, and he's like he has the feeling which he did not touch it, but he can still feel it. He did not touch the water or the rain, but he can still feel it. So that's what happened in August 2nd. We'll have a little summary of that. What happened was, in the night there is like a lot of noisily coming rain, and then on his tin roof, and there has been no storm or thunder accompanying it. And then it's just your wish to fall asleep or stay awake, because it's like so normal, and it's like your choice. It's just how you're feeling. And then it's a good sound to read by, and the rain outside is really like loud, but inside it is very quiet within. And then although the tin roofs are like having uncountable leaks, which is the tin roof is the roof of the Ruskin Bond's roof, which has a tin roof. And then he just felt like he's untouched by the rain, but he can just feel it. It's just a feeling that you have to imagine. Okay, now let's go to August 3rd. We saw August 2nd. So the rain stops and the clouds began to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the twinkle of cowbells in an oak tree. A cow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws disconsolate, which is unhappily, and water drips from a leaking drain pipe, and suddenly a clean, pure song of whistling thrush emerges like a dark, sweet secret from the depths of the rain. So what happened was, on August 3rd, the rain suddenly stopped, and it was like the stoppage of rain. It was like the time when the rain stops, and the clouds were like beginning to break up, and the sun strikes on his left feet, and the woman was chopping up sticks, and he can hear the um, tinkling bell of the cow, which is like they put it on the neck, right, like for cats and stuff. So it's like that. And in an oak tree a cow shakes. I think the cow was like tied up to an oak tree, and then the cow was shaking unhappily because it was tied up. And then the water drips leaking from a drain pipe, and suddenly clean pure sound of whistling thrush emerges like a dark sweet secret of the depths of ravine, which is like the valley, depths of the valley. So the water was leaking, and suddenly there was like the clean, pure, and like sound of whistling, and it emerges into a dark, sweet secret of the depths of the valley. And that's what happened in August 3rd. Now let's jump on a big step to August 12th. So it was like there was no rain in August 3rd, right? But here it has endless rain and a permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Like, seriously, even damp and soggy, nowhere to go. The pace the room, look out of the window, a few bobbing umbrellas. At least it isn't cold. Rain. The hillsides are lush. As late as monsoon flowers began to appear, wild balsam, the dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. What he is saying here is there was endless rain as there was no rain, and the rain stopped here, and then here there is endless rain and the permanent mist. They were not able to see clearly for 8 to 9 days, and everything was damp and soggy. Like, you can like think about it, right? There is like every single place is like a puddle, and how does I mean like how uncomfortable would that be? And he's telling that there was like nowhere to go, just space in the room, just looking out of the window, just seeing a few bobbing umbrellas, like walking here and there. At least it wasn't like cold rain. And at that time the hills are it was like at the time of late monsoon, and the flowers were beginning to appear in the wild, which are like the wild blossom, the dahlias and begonias and ground orchids. So they were all like appearing up, and they were all like being starting to appear because it was the late monsoon, it was starting. So that's what happened in August 12th. And now let's go to August 31st, which is the big thing. All right. So it's the last day of August in the lush of monsoon. Growth has reached its peak, and the seeds of cobra lily are turning red. And then the seeds of cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm green and upright. Ground orchids, Mayo lady slipper, and white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of the landor. White dahlias, red, yellow, ma- magenta, red, yellow, and magenta. It's like a color which is like darker than red mixed with pink, kind of like that. And it rears their heads from the rocky surfaces, which means like the narrow opening or like the cracks of the rocks, which they have taken hold of, and the snakes and the rodents flooded out of the holes and then the burrows to take shelters in the roofs. And then the roofs or the godowns are sheer weak of eyesight, blunders about the groans, much to amusement for the children. It was like the uh, it's shrew means it's like equivalent in the next sentence. Okay. Okay, so snakes and rodents, which are kind of like rats or stuff like that, like hamsters. So it was like amusement for the children because they didn't have an house, and they were like all going for houses. They were searching for houses to live, and then it was like so not nice at the outside, right? So they're like going to houses, and they were saying it was like an amusement park for the children because they were like trying to kill it. And then there was this grandma of the children telling it, don't kill it. Adam admonishes their grandmother, says their grandmother, chuchundars are lucky, they bring money like this mints. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. He's telling that at the time when the grandmother says that, he got a check in the mail, and he received not a very large amount of cash, but welcome all the same. It's like no problem, kind of like that. And then, um, so what happened here? I'm going to tell it all in a line. So what was happening in August 31st was the growth has reached the peak, and the seeds are like the seeds of cobra and lily are like turning very red in color. And then the rains are, which signifies that the rains are coming to an end. And the ferns right now are in a few days the ferns will turn into yellow, but right now they are still up and firm. And then, okay, oh wow, what happened? Okay, just a second, just a second, just a second, just a second, just a second. All right. And there was like the ladies slippers and orchids, like white butterfly put on fashion display on the glassy slopes of Landor, white dahlias and red, yellow, and magenta near their heads on the rocky surfaces where they are taken hello. Like it's like the trend for them at that time, wearing like ladies slippers and like white butterfly orchids, putting on fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor, white dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta near the heads of the rocky surfaces, which is like a narrow opening, which I already said. And I already see this, I mean the snakes, the rodents, and like the rats kind of animals, they didn't know where to go. I mean, it was like a week of eyesight, because they didn't know where to go. It was so kind of like misty, and they didn't know what to do, so they were going inside houses. But while they were going, it was an amusement park for the children, because they found it they were about to kill it. And at that time there was this grandma coming and telling that, don't kill it, and chuchundars, it's like a Hindi word for it, I guess, are lucky and they bring us money. And sure enough, I receive. It's now the author is telling that at that time when the grandma said that, he got a mail in the he got a mail and received a check in the mail, not a very large amount, but welcome all the same. So it was really nice about that. And now going to October 3rd, it was so big, but you just had to understand what's going on there, which makes it so much more interesting. So October 3rd, we have gone straight from monsoon to winter rain, snow at higher altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and hills are sun suffused with beautiful golden light. Winter rains in the hills. Okay, so what happened here was in October 3rd. He's telling that we have gone straight from monsoon to winter, and then there are even snows in higher altitudes, which is the place which are more colder. And then after in the evening, a hailstorm, and the skies are literally so beautifully, giving us golden light. And moving on to January 26th. The winter rains in the hills are hushed in silence of my house. It was so silent. And when I'm quite alone and my friend who was here, so his friend who was there had gone, and it was very lonely. And it was like he was sitting in like liquid silence, which is like a pin drop silence kind of thing. And he was surrounded with the rhythm of rain, and straight and there were like water on leaves and lemons on our roof, and drumming of drenched dahlias and window panes. So drenched dahlias, I mean dahlias means the flowers which were coming in the late monsoon, which we already read. And the water on the leaves, on the lemons on the roof, and drumming on the drenches of dahlias and window panes, which is like the fog on windows like when it rains. And I pause near a window. The rain stops and starts again, and the trees no longer green but grey menace with me and their loneliness. He's telling that when he just like stopped by the window, he sees that the rain stops and starts again, stops and starts again. It's like it was not constant at all. And the trees are no longer green but gray, which is he's saying that it's connecting with him, or which he's also going through a lonely time, and the trees are gray, so it just connects with him. So that's what, and all in one line, which is saying there was his friend, and his friend has also gone, and he had so quiet, sitting in like liquid silence, which is no one around him. And he had a rhythm of the rain, and there was water on leaves, on lemons, on the roofs, and on drumming on the drench, the helias, and the window panes, while the mist in the house was like so dark as, which means like touching or like holding or lovingly. And when he just like was walking by and he saw the window and he just stopped by it, and then he's seeing that the leaves of the trees are not green anymore and they're gray, and it connects with his loneliness. Coming to the last and the lovely part of this lesson. So, late March, end of winter, the blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted around Missouri, which is the place. So it was like the end of the March and end of winter, which is a relief seeing this story. So the blackest cloud I've ever seen in squattered, which is like scattered around, squatted around Missouri, and then hailed marbles of half an hour, nothing like hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. So when he was writing this at that time, the rainbow was forming, and there were like hailed marbles for half an hour, which seemed to be nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky, and that's it. This is such a lovely lesson about, it's just a big story which is telling every single day of, not every single day, but times of his life, about how the love for his nature, which is just so cute and cool. So that's it for this lesson. If you haven't seen the part one, please go ahead and check that one too. And if you like this video, make sure like, share, and subscribe for more. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.